I slow down a little bit today. Your mind was built to overcome. Your mind was built to overcome. What a great title for what we have in store for today. Because if you feel like you've had a failure, you feel like that it didn't go the way you wanted to, our minds and the way God put us is built to overcome those things. And all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37, no, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loves us. Grounding, Father, remind me today that you did not design my mind for defeat. Ooh, so perfect for today, right? Father God, remind me that you did not design my mind for defeat. You designed it for victory through you. The truth is, you were not designed to be overwhelmed. You were not designed to be defeated. You were not designed to be white-knuckle your way through life just because surviving each successful wave of difficulty. Your mind was built to overcome, not in your own strength, but in the one who loved and to you enough to go to the cross, defeat death, and take up residence inside you. More than conquerors is not a motivational phrase. It is a declaration of spiritual and neurological reality of life surrendered to God. It means you are not capable of surviving what comes against you. You are designed to come through it with more than you had before, with greater faith, greater wisdom, greater compassion, and greater evidence of God's faithfulness than a challenge you could ever produce without the overcoming. Ooh, this is such a good one for today. So an example, a young woman faces a season of back-to-back challenges. And we all know what that looks like, right? When things aren't going right, it seems like it all just piles on. It seems like if it's just one thing, it's another. A health crisis, a financial pressure, and a relationship betrayal, all arriving within the same 6-month window. By every natural measure, she should be overwhelmed. And there are days when the weight of it feels like too much. But she has been building something. She has been coming through what we do today, our routine.live. She's been coming for 228 days. And through a daily renewal, through consistent prayer, and through a community of faith, through the repeated choice to bring God into every challenge rather than facing it alone, and something remarkable happens. Not the challenges disappear, but that she moves through them with resilience. She moves through them with a peace and a faith that surpasses all understanding, even her own. And it's not because she was strong enough. It was because she has surrendered enough to access the strength that was always greater than the challenge. The story I have is I faced things that generally did not think I would get through. Seasons where the weight felt unbearable, challenges that felt bigger than my faith, moments where I could not see how the story was going to end well. And I have come through every single one of them, not unaffected, not unchanged, not without scars, but through and on the other side of each one, I found something I did not expect. Not just relief that it was over, but something deposited in me by overcoming itself. A faith I could not have built in comfort, a wisdom I could not have developed in ease, and a testimony I could not have carried without the trial. Right? If you got to be able to testify that things are better, you have to have gone through something before you can do that. Then you got to be able to say this is the greatness of what God did in times of trouble. But if there's no trouble, then you're saying, what did God did? Right? I am more than I was before every hard thing I have come through. And it's not despite the difficulties, because of what God produced in me and through me. That is what more than conqueror means. Not just surviving, it's becoming more through the overcoming. So here's what's happening in our mind. Research in resilience, neuroscience shows that the brain has a remarkable capacity for what scientists call stress inoculation. The process by which navigating challenge successfully actually builds greater neural capacity for handling future challenges. Studies show that people who face adversity with active coping strategies engage the challenge rather than avoiding it. People, and I hope that I have this right, studies show that people who face adversity with an active coping strategies. How are you dealing with the disappointments that come in your life? How are you fighting those thoughts in your mind that said, this is hopeless, this isn't gonna work. I did it again, I tried it again, but it didn't work. So if I had that, if I've been doing what I'm doing every day, I've developed a stronger prefrontal cortex function, greater emotional regulation capacity, and more robust stress response system than those who either avoid the challenge or are crushed by it. The brain literally grows stronger through overcoming. Romans, and I hate the fact that we got to do that. I hate the fact that we have to have things that we need to overcome. But in order to make our brain stronger, in order to go stronger, and usually the reason that we need to go stronger is so that we can help somebody else. Somebody else is going to go through some of the same things that we've gone through. And our ability to say, I've done that before, I've been there before, gives us a different perspective for a challenging time to walk with somebody else. I had a phone call from a friend yesterday that is going through something after our event yesterday. And he just said, I just need somebody to pray with me. This is a hard time. This is something I'm going through that is not easy for me to do. And I was so excited to be able to do that I was able to just say, God, this struggling time. And I think about a perspective of, I had just went through a disappointing event, at least disappointing from my side of it, where many great things came out of it. And yet God still was able to use me to comfort another. And my stress and the things that I was going through were so small compared to what he used me for yesterday in the kingdom. So Romans 8:37 is not just a spiritual declaration. It describes a neurological reality. You were designed to come through difficulty stronger than you went in. More than a conqueror is built into the architecture of a surrendered and a renewed mind. So our heart connection today, you were not designed to barely survive. You were designed to come through every challenge, the more than you had before. It's like the ladies I talk about in the church that I used to talk to, Miss Johnson, and it was in the Baptist church, and all the ladies in the front couple rows, right? They all had their white hats on, and they were singing and praising, and I would always stop and ask Miss Johnson, this is the Second Baptist Church in Monrovia, California, right? And I would say, Miss Johnson, how you doing today? And she said, going through it. And I was thinking, later on in life is, she said that every single week. And I thought later, I'm like, why is Miss Johnson always going through it? Why isn't she ever get to the other side? What is it that's stopping her in her life and her tracks that is preventing her from getting through it? And so we were not designed to just barely survive. We were designed to come through every challenge with more than we had before. That's how we were designed. That's how we have to get back to. What challenge have you been facing in a survival mindset that God is calling you to face with an overcomer's mindset? Write down the challenge that feels most overwhelming right now. Then write Romans 8:37 underneath it. In all these things, I am more than a conqueror through him who loves me. Speak it out loud 3 times, then ask God now how to escape this challenge. But he wants to build in you through overcoming it. Shift from survival mode to overcomer mode, and watch your relationship with the challenge begin to change. So the short prayer here is, Father, remind me today that you did not design me for defeat. You designed me for overcoming, not in my own strength, but through yours. Help me face every challenge today, not as someone trying to barely survive, but as someone who is more than a conqueror through you. Build in me through this overcoming what comfort and ease never could have produced. The blessing today is, may you face challenges today with an unshakable confidence of someone who is designed not just to survive it, but to come through it. I'm going to even highlight that because Miss Johnson at the church, right? She couldn't have not ever got through it unless she had a mindset that she would never get through it, right? With more faith, more wisdom, and more evidence of God's faithfulness than the challenge could have ever produced without overcoming. What challenge have you been approaching in your survival mindset that God is calling you to face as an overcomer? What has God built in you through the past challenge that comfort and ease never could have produced? And how does knowing you were designed to be more than a conqueror change how you face what is in front of you right now? I'm going to go ahead and put those in the chat today. Oh my gosh, it just jumped off. Okay, go up here. There we go. Move that up and put that in the chat. Boom. All right. So, because I want to make sure you have it. That is not what I just copied and now pasted. No. All right. One more time. There we go. All right. So how are we going to live it today? You were not designed for defeat. I'll say that one more time because it is so important that we understand this. You were not designed for defeat. You were not built to barely survive. You were not wired for just getting by, going through it, baby, right? You were designed to overcome, to come through every challenge with more than you had before, to emerge from every hard season with greater faith, greater wisdom, and greater testimony. More than conquerors, not through your strength, through his love. Face what is in front of you today, not as a victim of your circumstances, but as someone who is specifically designed to come through this and be greater on the other side. You were built for this. Now go overcome it. And as we move into our